everybody, and welcome to today's live stream. Woohoo! Hex Token channel represent. Yeah, power, more power to Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex every day. And of course, we cover a lot of other cool projects that are going to build on Pulsechain or that are pretty cool in themselves. So we're going to talk about that. Hope you guys enjoy it. And of course, a big welcome from Hex Token channel. What else are we going to say? My host, Superman in the house. And yeah, get into the chat, say hello. Community's #1 numero uno, as always. If you haven't joined our awesome Discord, jump into the Discord. The link is in the video description. Heading towards 800 members of really, really good people. And so get in there. It's really fun. If you like good information as well, we've got all the links to all the great things. So definitely worth getting into, folks. Woohoo! Now, we're going to get into the stock market, of course. We're going to get into crypto. And then, of course, we're going to get the Hex ecosystem with all the awesome derivatives and things like that. We're going to get into a lot of the Pulsechain project updates, the ones that matter, at least at this stage. And, of course, we're going to be looking also at Pulsepot, which is absolutely soaring. And I think there's exciting things coming for Pulsepot. It is a speculative play compared to all the more conservative speculative plays in crypto. But it is, I think, going to be huge in iGaming and, of course, crypto casino. So we're going to look at that too. It's got all the best of gamification in it. The dev is absolutely a genius, and of course, it has a great ethic as well. So we're going to talk about that later on. So stay tuned. I know many of you are involved with that. We're also going to get into Hex Daily Stats later on. So stay tuned for the Hex Daily Stats, and of course, look at Richard Hart's show on Hexologists. We're going to talk about that later on as well. So let's get into it. Let's say hello in the chat there. Big welcome to everybody, of course. And big shout out to all the fellow Pulsechain and Hex, content creators. Really do, getting a lot more streams again, which is really cool, right? We did have a period where people stopped streaming. There were obviously a few that are consistent, but it's nice to see more and more back in streaming. My life is awesome. Who else is out there? This does Hodl Dog, I think, back out there. A few others are there. So really, really cool. And hats off. And I think we're going to have Crypto 7 starting streaming again too. He ended that on Twitter. So big shout out to Crypto 7 as well. He's had a bit of a break and back into it. So looking forward to more of their awesome content. So very, very cool. Big shout out actually to Jim at Crypto and Sam. Man, absolutely killing out there with their shows. So big shout out to them for their shows. Really, really like what they're doing. And of course, a big shout out to Corey Costa's been really out there just killing it as well, doing great job. So big shout out to them, and looking forward to it. Woohoo! Let's go. I might have a few surprises for you guys coming up, by the way. So stay tuned for that. A few more surprises coming up that you might like. Hey, Terry Doxon, how's that? Hopefully I'll be awake for Superman to catch live. Well, you definitely hope so there, I would dare say. And Blobfish King in the house as well. Woohoo! We are getting closer than you think to Pulsechain launch. I think that's definitely a possibility there, Blobfish King. We're going to talk about that a bit later. Wookie's in the house there. Wookie's call on Pulse launch is close. Some may say it's over maybe. Wookie is just confused, and RH is going to announce the news of the launch on that date. Wookie thinks he still wins. Yeah. Hey, look, we've got a poll up at the moment as well. We've got a poll up, and of course, don't forget to smash into that poll. The more people we have vote on the poll, which will Richard Hart drop Pulsechain news on Hexologists show on Saturday? Now, I wanted to be careful about saying, will Richard Hart drop launch Pulsechain on Saturday? I didn't quite go that crazy, but do you think that some sort of news will come out that's significant? That's material. Obviously, it's going to be nice just hearing from Richard Hart as well, but it's always obviously a lot of people waiting patiently for the launch of Pulsechain, so get in there for that one. We've got, yes, maybe 2 more weeks, of course. I know you guys like that. I was going to go 2 more months, but I thought it'd be a bit funny at 2 more weeks. And, of course, no. So get into that one. We'll have a look at that later on when we get up to that section of the live stream. Check my pulse in the house there. What's up, Superman? Evening, fellow Hexagons. Good to see you. Check my pulse. A big welcome to everybody watching, of course. I do appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell. If you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechans, Hexagons, and the Richard Hart Club. Just a cool way of supporting this channel as we promote those projects well into the future. They are the golden projects. Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex. These are the golden projects. Obviously, I think Incentive Token is going to do well as well. That's my opinion. They are the golden projects. I'm going to be doing a video on that today. Stay tuned. That's coming out later on today. You're going to like that. And, of course, those are the main plays. But, of course, we're waiting for Pulsechain. Richard Hart is forking Ethereum. And, of course, that means that's opened up all these other projects that we're talking about on this channel and other channels. And of course, some of them are absolutely brilliant. Some of them are rubbish. And of course, we have to try and discern the difference. But in any case, there are a lot of projects coming to Pulsechain, and we're having a lot of fun. Some of them are launching on other chains, and they're going to be launching on Pulsechain. Some of them are going to be airdropped to Pulsechain. Some of them are going to get forked on Ethereum to Pulsechain. So there's a whole myriad of cool projects coming up. I guess the next one coming up is, I think what we've got, Paul Pleb and Xen, I think it's called. That's coming up there with Jack, and so we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I think Fat Sammy says, I think Christmas release for some reason. Yeah, a lot of people think that, and I think someone's done some memes. I think someone in the Fiat there did a meme on Christmas time. So we'll see. But who knows, says Fat Sammy. Katie's in the house there. Let's go. Absolutely. And of course, the PSI's in the house there. Made it to the live show, at least for a little bit. Hey, PSI, it's always a pleasure. Great to see you in the chat there, by the way. And Empty Corner in the house there. Good to see Empty Corner. Hey, there's Suitman from KD. Orion's in the house. J-Man. Good to see J-Man. I responded to your comment earlier, J-Man. So very cool. Hardware. Woohoo. Let's go. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, definitely get in there. And I like that. Excited for the Pulsepot. Yeah, Pulsepot. Pulsepot is going to be pretty cool. Obviously, Pulsepot is coming on the Pulsechain. They currently launched their first one on BNB because obviously Pulsechain is not around yet. So BNBPot.io, we're going to be looking at that later on. Sandy Beach in the house. Woohoo! Rocking on. And J-Man, glad I sacrificed for Pulsepot, says J-Man. Yeah, BNBPot, but Pulsepot is the main one. And yeah, I had to get my head around the name because they're launching on BNB. But big shout out to Jacob and the team. Super successful launch, man. You don't do it much better than what Jacob and the BNB team did. That's about as good as it gets. And of course, it's only going to get better. I'm going to be talking about that in another video. So I've got a Pulsechain video coming later today, which is going to be really cool. And I've got a BNB video coming out later on that you do not want to miss as well. That's going to be fun. So those are my two videos for today that are coming up after the live stream. As you guys know, I'm doing one live stream now, and it's pre-recorded videos, and that seems to be going pretty well. The Christian's in the house there. Hello. Good to see you, Christian. J-Man, big shout out to Hex Token for all these awesome streams. Hey, J-Man, appreciate that. Pulse Beta in the house as well. Good morning, super. Woohoo! Is the surprise your dolphin impression? No, I'm still not going to do that, PSI. That's still not happening. I just don't know if I'll deliver it properly. I want to do it, but I just don't know whether it's going to come out right. Thanks, everyone, for your support on Discord. Sometimes I'm silly, Sandy Beach. Hey, you're welcome, Sandy Beach. Yeah, Discord has been going really well. A big shout out to, by the way, to Brian. It's now. And, of course, Fat Sammy. And, of course, I've just appointed them, made a new role for community leaders because the size of the Discord is getting so much bigger. And they've got a few, they were moderators with all the awesome moderators. We've got fantastic moderators, including Sandy Beach and Wookie and stuff like that. And so we just got the community lead. So they're managing a lot of things, and I do appreciate all that they do. It is a team effort. It's a community effort. And so, yeah, and humility is a big part of being in a community and organizing community, big humility. So I really do appreciate everything that the team's doing. Pulsevator says more blah will come from Richard, yet still nothing, says Pulsevator. And Christian says, I think it's launching in the beginning of the new year. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the time too, Q1 of 23. I kind of feel like maybe that's the time. Obviously 2 years later would be July, right? So that's from the sacrifice phase. So the Q1 kind of has the right vibe now. Obviously, we've got the interest rate stuff coming up, so we're going to talk about that now as well. Brian's in the house there. Sup, boss? Good to see you as well. Just talked about Brian, of course. Scott Jackson in the house. Good to see Scott Jackson. Who else is in the house there? I'm just going to jump through some of these. PSI says, love your content, suit man. This has become a go-to daily update watch. Usually have to catch the recording, though. Hey, PSI, appreciate that big time. Christian says it will be our Christmas gift if he does drop Pulsechain on Christmas. Yeah, that'd be true. Let's go. Stakes are up, and we might be going into a bull market for Hex. I think you might be right, Laura. We're going to look at the Hex chart later on. I think you just might be right there. BNBP is taking us to Mars, far away, says Christian. It is, and it's only going to get better. I'm going to show some insights today on BNBPot, so hopefully that is going to be of interest to you. And, of course, I've got a bit of a cool video coming out later on today on BNBPot. You do not want to miss it. It is more speculative, but it is fitting a different market. So it's a completely different market to, say, Hex, for example. PSI says, yeah, really like the new format, one live and one recorded. Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do 2 recorded PSI, but we'll see how we go. Maybe one on some days. Brian says to Sandy, thank you. You're the next to be orange. Just saying, says Brian. Nice work. All right, cool. Let's get into it, folks. Woo-hoo-hoo. I'll leave a timestamp after the video so you can jump straight to the content. That was a big welcome from me. And, of course, let's get into it. So stock market today, down and strong start to October as bets on Fed pivot rise. Now, remember last in September, we had so many red days. We had a lot of volatility. We had a few green shoots in there. Now, this was expected. We've been talking about it for months. And no brainer there, right? So there we are. That's what we got. Let's have a look at the indices, though. Very good day in the office. And, of course, Dow Jones, the top 30 industrial firms on the stock market, up 2.66%. Really nice day there. 765 points to 29,490. Now, what we want to do is get that over 30,000. That 30,000 is a key point psychologically. And, of course, we want to get another day where we get that over 30,000. That'd be very, very bullish. S&P 500 there, down, up 92 points or 2.6%, up to 3,678. And the NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it, up 2.2% there, up 239 points to 10,815. And that's despite Tesla review there as well. Now, the S&P volatility index there is down, which is great. We have risk on in the market. And, of course, that means people are investing. And, of course, the volatility has gone down 5 percentage points there. The dollar index is down slightly to 111 versus its trading partners. And there are some of the trading partners looking to try and change their interest rates. UK Trust, of course, looking to reverse the tax policy. Now, tax policy reductions are good unless, of course, you're running deficits. Then that's when it's an issue as opposed to stimulating the economy. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. You got to be able to do tax cuts and have it neutral, and then your tax benefit will benefit into the economy as capitalists invest at. On the other hand, of course, we're looking at the New Zealand Federal Reserve down here. Obviously, the Kiwi is one of the top foreign exchanges, and it's been diving just like Australia versus the US. And, of course, they're looking at potentially raising the rates again. To me, these guys don't know what they're doing at all. So it's just the way it goes. That could play in our favor. Some people are now betting on the US Federal Reserve, maybe pivoting a bit there after the Bank of England also pivoted there. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. All right, let's get into it, folks. The commentary. Before we do that, let's get into the commodities because that's also another big story is the commodities. And, of course, Brent oil, West Texas there, down slightly at the moment. That's still open at $83.33. The Brent crude is up $3.56, 4%, up to $88.70. And, of course, if we look a month ago, we can see that it was up at $96. And, of course, now it's down at 83. And just a little while ago, about a week ago, it was down at $83 there. So pretty similar amount now, 88. So just up about $5 from there. Gold has had a good day, back over 1,700, up $7.80. And silver there, $20.86. Now, silver is, from Kiyosaki's point of view, the famous Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was it? Yeah. He was calling this the poor man's investment over the next couple of years, expecting silver to do something like 3 to 5x, I think he was expecting. So I might actually talk about that in another video. It's kind of where he is at the moment. So anyway, that's good for gold and silver. And, of course, let's see where we go with the rest of the markets in the week ahead. Now, Dow rallied on Monday, making a strong start to the final quarter of the year as investors piled into tech and energy stocks on hopes that signs of slowing economic growth will force the Federal Reserve to cool the pace of rate hikes. Now, I've already talked about a narrative of the midterms that they may go down to 50 basis points. You guys heard me talk about that. That would be because I think that they're politically aligned. They're supposed to be neutral. That if you look at all their policies coming out, they pretty much looks like they're aligned with the Democrat Party and, of course, the current administration. So if you don't believe me, go look at their policies and then go match them up to the Democrat Party. The other thing, of course, is a duo of weaker than expected economic reports showing manufacturing activity unexpectedly slipped in contraction. So this is good news for us as well. This would bode well for the pivot as well. And, of course, the construction activity was worse than Fed. Stoked optimism or whatever that the Fed may be forced to consider a pivot to avoid pushing the economy into deep recession. Now, obviously, people are talking about quantitative easing in the UK. I think that the Fed may pivot on that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that they would pivot on that. But they would maybe pivot on the midterms. They would maybe pivot on reducing economic signs, and of course, inflation coming back. Typically, when you move into recession, that's 2 quarters of negative growth, which the US has done. You typically would move into deflationary period, and therefore inflation would come down naturally, organically. And of course, we've already seen cracks in the economy already, particularly in supply chains and the property market and things like that. We're already seeing those early shoots. And of course, these things are delayed, right? They come in lagged indicators. And so we have seen that. So now we've got another indicator here showing things are just easing off there. So that's probably good. That may make them pull down their forecast. Remember, I think they were going to go to about 4.4% on the federal funds rate. So that's still a bit higher from where we are now. And of course, maybe we'll get a bit of softer slowdown for the November rate hike. So that looks looking good. ISM manufacturing data for September showed a drop to 50.9 from 52.8. Now, over 50 is still growth, but the expectation was 52.8, and that's probably more important here. Well below economists' forecast for a drop of 50 to 52.2. A reading above 50 in the ISM index indicates that an expansion in manufacturing, which accounts for about 12% of the US economy. Remember, 70% of the US economy is consumption. It is the consumption engine of the world, and still is today. And so this is why the interest rates matter so much. But in this case, the manufacturing side definitely pulling, that lower than expectation, definitely softening things potentially for a Fed pivot to maybe slightly lower interest rates. The odds of the Fed delivering its 4th consecutive 75 basis point rate hike fell to 59 from 59 to 72% a week ago, according to investors.com Federal Monitor height there. We can actually see the basis there. You can see set 3.75 to 4% on a federal funds rate at 60%. So that's 3 in 5 people thinking that it's going to be on the higher side, 75 basis points. But on the lower side, we've got 40% there, sitting at 3.5 to 3.75, which is a 50 basis point rise in the federal funds rate there. So definitely that's growing. That's actually pretty surprising. Now, one of my rationales for that, of course, was the midterms as well. So this may play well into the narrative where they can use this to pause, just a little pause, and then maybe they'll do a rate rise in the next one after November. And of course, we don't really want interest rate rises into 2023. That's inversely related to asset prices, so we really don't want that. And the higher it gets, that we're moving from cheap money to more expensive money, then that's when things really start to fall apart, start to crack around. And risk off is in the place. So we really don't want that too much. So this kind of positive news. We'll see whether we can build on this as we move ahead. Treasury yields fell sharply as investors priced in the prospect of a less hawkish path of monetary policy tightening. So less hawkish just means rather than 75 basis points, maybe something like 50. The 10-year Treasury yield fell from more than a decade highs, with the further easing likely ahead as it remains very overbought on a short-term basis. And of course, remember, this is what is also causing the stock market to go down with these Treasury yields going up. Energy up about 4%, also did some heavy hitting in the broader market melt up on the media reports that OPEC and its allies, known as OPEC Plus, mulling slashing output by more than 1 million barrels per day ahead of Wednesday's meeting. Obviously, as the Biden administration moved away from the policy of the previous administration under Trump of self-sufficiency, this has put the U.S. reliant on international oil. And of course, this is a bad decision because now these guys can restrict supply and keep elevated prices, earning absolutely killing on the cash cow. Obviously, this also plays in the favor of Russia, which can sell its oil through to China and India and places like that, who can then resell it on to Europe. And this is the kind of craziness that's going on, and get around, embargoes and other things like that. So it's pretty crazy stuff going on there at the moment. Now, one little highlight there. I don't normally talk too much about individual stocks, but I thought I'd talk about Tesla. Tesla, meanwhile, slumped 8% after reporting that it delivered 343,000 vehicles in the third quarter, missing Wall Street estimates of between 358,000 and 371,000. Now, this is pretty pivotal because obviously electric cars, a big part of the future. They're one of the top 6 industrial innovations, industry innovations that are happening at the moment that we've been experienced for the last 10 years. They're still playing out. Following the announcement, JP Morgan said it remained wary of Tesla's valuation and continued to see large downside to the price target of $153, suggesting about a 37% downside from Tesla current price. Now, as you may know, a lot of people have been doing a lot of bets for a long time on trying to short the Tesla stock, and of course have failed. Now it looks like maybe they've got their first real opportunity now to try and short this stock big time. Obviously, some have been doing it already, but a lot of them got burned, right? They got burned. And so let's have a quick look at the Tesla stock here. We can see that's currently down 8.6%, $242. So it definitely looks like an injured deer. And of course, let's have a look at the chart here. On here, we can see the current chart there down to 242. It was just up at $309. So, pretty severe move there. Now, if we have a look at the all-time chart on Tesla up here, you can see that just people are trying to short it all the time. All the time they're trying to short through here, getting wrecked. And it got up right at the top here. It got up to, what's that, 30. I don't even know what that's trying to tell me there. But it got up really high, and then it's come back here. So pretty crazy stuff there. Got back to, what's that price there? It got back to $424, I think, back down. This stuff doesn't even make any sense. So anyway, it's come back down. So that's probably all I would say there. It doesn't actually give me proper prices on there that I can read. But it's currently at $242 at the moment. And so that's pretty significant in terms of one of the leading technology companies. And of course, this was always getting priced up about its future delivery. And I still think that's probably going to play out. So cool on that one. All right, so that is the stock market news. Let's get into crypto. Bam, boom, here we go. Woohoo! Green, green, green. We love green. And of course, we had red over the weekend, actually. Like yesterday was kind of red, but now it was still holding pretty well, but ETH was getting weak. So BTC at 90,632. This is actually a pretty pivotal level now of BTC. We might get a break higher. I'm feeling pretty positive about that at 19,632. Man, I guess that's looking pretty good. We have a good chance, I think, of moving even higher than that. So that's good. ETH there, 1,326. And that is up 3.72%. Nice to see that back up as well. Obviously, there's got different resistant points as it moves higher. We've got BNB that's been doing pretty well actually anyway, and that's at $287 there as well. You can see there's quite a few green ones in around. Uni's up quite a bit, up 6% on Uni. What else there? I've got quite a few stuff here going on there. I don't even know what that is, Ruin. But there's quite a lot there doing pretty well. So we're going to jump away from that. So looking good. Let's have a look at some of the news in crypto. We've got one news story. There's actually two news stories, but the other one I can't be bothered talking about, and that is another regulatory agency in the US looking at trying to regulate, talking about how they need to regulate the risks and the risk to the crypto and how it's going to undermine the financial system and rubbish like that. So the crypto system is really small compared to the global markets. And of course, these guys just want to control. They want to control the industry, not just to protect the investors as they try to pretend, because they all want to try and support a new digital currency. And of course, once they do that, a centralized digital currency, they're going to decide who can buy and who can sell. This is what they're up to. They're openly saying it at the WF and things like that. The Federal Reserve. These guys are not mucking around. And of course, they once they do that, man, you're locked in. So if you don't have cash, if you don't have decentralized crypto, then you're locked into the system, and they can tell who can buy and sell. If they don't like you, you will find out pretty quickly. You already said that they're trying to do credit rating systems, trying to control you that way. There are too many bad people with bad intentions. And of course, the ones that think that they're in the middle of the road, they're the ones that are being deceived because they think they're advocating for something good, but actually they're going to be used for bad. So just be wary of those commentaries. And of course, contact your local politician and make sure you try and keep things as free as possible. And we do think there does need to be some basic regulation for investor protection, but beyond that, you really don't want to go where these guys are going to head with it. So there we are. But let's get into more interesting news. We've got Kim Kardashian. You got it. Kim Kardashian there. Let me pull that up there. So Kim Kardashian will pay $1.26 million over allegations from the SEC that she broke US rules touting a crypto token without disclosing she was paid for the promotion. There we are. That she got done. The SEC is going to hunt high-profile people, make examples of them, and then she had to pay. It just goes to show you. I think the SEC has been sending really bad signals out into the market. Just overdoing it, trying to make examples of people is what they do. one of their tactics. It's very much the you've heard of the carrot and the stick. It's very much the stick approach they're taking most of the time. So yeah, I don't really trust these guys too much. Let's jump over to Hex. Woohoo! Hex is looking good too. We're going to look at that too. Hex is looking very good. So let's get into some of the comments. Got some comments in the house. So we're going to, before we get to Hex chart, we're going to be talking about, we're going to catch into the comments as well. So let me find out where I was up to before. I don't want to get too far behind the comments. Let's go all the way back up here. Go up there. I think I got up to here. We've got Lorik in the house there. Let's go. Stocks are up, and we might be going into a bull market for Hex. Yeah, I think I got up to there. I think there's really good sentiments there. Got up to that one too. Crypto Knights in the house. Hey, good to see Crypto Knights. Hey guys. Droning on again and again, says Bleep Mars. Plow Uranus says drowning. That's pretty funny. Yeah, if you're going to go to Mars on one of those ships, don't expect a good time. It'll be fun on the inspiration. You say, oh, I've landed on Mars, and then what? Then what, right? Then what? I know doing recorded videos is a lot of work with editing, so we'll take a 2 if we can get them, says PSI. Nice one. I like that. Discord is easy, but you are always in there paying attention, and I feel like you know BS when you see it in there. That's all it takes, is Brian. Nice, well said. Crypto Knight says Binance opening in New Zealand, reported on a TV3 News yesterday, says Crypto Knight. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. I'll have a look at, check that out, Crypto Knight. Appreciate the alpha there. And what else there? We've got a couple more comments. Sam in the house there. Headed to the gym, catch up later, says Sam. Always a pleasure, Sam. Take care of yourself. And PSI says, I left a comment on your previous video about the Pulsepot NFT games release. Small bit of info, not much, says PSI. Now, I did have a look at that, and I have got a video coming out later today, so I might incorporate that into the video. Thanks, PSI. Vance Malone says, hello, I am watching on a 10-minute delay. I ended up joining late, says Vance. Just put it at 1.25. You don't have to put it at 1.5 because I talk so fast anyway. I have to slow myself down, to be honest. It's pretty exciting. I love crypto, and I love Richard Hart products. And, of course, I love some of these other products that are coming out that are really, really clever. Really, really clever. So we're going to talk more about that. Pulsechain taking a long time, says DB. It does indeed. And, of course, but it is one day closer, DB. So whenever it does launch, it will be pretty fun. Maybe we might get some info on a Hexologist show. Get Hex says, hey, good morning, guys. Good to see you, Get Hex, as well. Crypto King in house. Boom. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see Crypto King. Shout out to, what's it, RP Vegas and Brian Gruder for some awesome stuff they sent in support of the Halloween cruise sponsored by Hexations. Boom. Yeah, big shout out for that, Crypto King. That was so cool. I think Magic Carpet Ride said they also got some stuff yesterday, so that was really cool from Magic Carpet Ride team. This president's doing everything wrong, Locke says. Yeah, but he's doing everything wrong, but he's also can't remember what he's doing after that. That's pretty much it. Christian says SpaceX for the win. Yeah, I love SpaceX, Christian. I really do. I watch a lot of space videos. I'm into physics quite a lot and a lot of other topics that I don't talk about on this channel, but definitely like SpaceX, intergalactic space travel. Lol, yeah. Well, they just smashed a asteroid the other day. That was pretty fun. Crypto Manic in the house there. Hello. And what else there? Let's jump through some of these. Astri in the house. Good to see Astri. Who else there? Jonathan Kapala. Nice to see you. About to go into the Dallas meetup and meet Hexray and Rags. Almost there. Jonathan, say hello from the rest of us in the community. Big shout out to Rags and Hexray. Jonathan, send out that love from our community here. You can say I talked about it live. Yeah. Sandy says, I love physics. Woohoo! Yeah, I love physics. I read a lot of physics books and a lot of other topics. It's quite good. Probably one of the hardest classes ever, says Sandy Beach. Very, very nice. Yeah. Brian says, tell him we say hello, Jonathan. Definitely. Hashtag jealous, Jonathan. Hashtag jealous. All right, let's get into it, folks. Hex ecosystem. Woohoo! Let's go. And, of course, if you haven't checked out hex.com, check it out. The links are in the video description to hex.com, Pulsechain, of course, .com, and PulseX. They're all coming. They're part of Richard Hart's golden crypto. If you think about tens of thousands of crypto out there, there really is only a very small group at the very top. The golden products, and Richard Hart is building those out. So definitely check out some of the links in the video description if you're new to this channel or to Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX coming up there. Now, we also cover a lot of other projects that will be coming on to Pulsechain. And, of course, you know me, I tried to cover the ones that I think are probably going to be very good. If I mention a lot of projects, but a lot of time I just go past them. I mention them, but I don't deep dive. But as you guys know, I've been doing pretty good calls for most of the year, and most of them play out. Most of them have been playing out pretty well. So it's pretty cool. Let's get into Hex. Hex at the moment. Woohoo! Look at this. Nice. Actually, I might bring up my other chart, but this is looking pretty good. A nice little bounce here. We're at 3.16 cents, and we bounced up 3.37. We didn't get this breakout. We were teasing on a possible breakout here. We didn't have a tight Bollinger Band though. We had it was tightening, but it wasn't tight enough. And of course we were getting an EMA 13 cross, but that didn't quite play out. So it was kind of mixed results, as you guys remember from the other day. And yeah, we didn't quite play out there. But we're currently back up to 3.378. So that's nice to see. Let's quickly look at the Hex Whale Bot and see what's been happening over the last 24 hours. We had 4.7 million sold 21 hours ago. Now, I'm pretty sure this is probably a trader or something. He's got 2 more stakes. Oh, he's got 2 more stakes for about 2 years. Only 4 million Hex left. Okay, cool. We do have some of those day traders out there. What happened there? I'm not sure what happened there. Lost my whale bot. And what else there? We had 36 million in stakes, 10% APY, 10 million bought. So this is really cool. 15 hours ago, 10 million bought for 321. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if there's any all these traders. Yeah, probably traders. That's the problem. That's always got a bit of a mix of traders in there. 51 million Hex stake for 13 days. So another one of these short stakers here. And we've seen lots of those. 7.2 million bought 8 hours ago, 240 million. Give that a bit of love there. 18.3 million bought 1 hour ago for 620,000. That's pretty amazing, really. So good to see that. Let's have a quick look and see what if there's any info here. Steph from Stake Grab says, welcome back. I wonder what the plans with the remainder of 500,000. Soon dumping, he says, this Expo. We'll see about that. But it's definitely possible. There's a lot of traders in there. Sandwiches here, so cool. 18 million in there. So obviously you can check that out in your own time. And then sold 18 million an hour later. So bought and sold. And looks like they made a couple $100 or something. But there's probably gas fees, right? Probably paid more in gas fees. What a complete plonko, really. Buy, sell, testing liquidity, maybe. 350, blah, blah, blah. Any ham sandwich, anyone? That's pretty funny stuff there. So cool. You can obviously go deep dive. That's kind of what's been happening lately. And with the chart there. So we're just up obviously slightly there. We've just switched over to a new day as well. On my day, it's just switched over to UTC time. So it just matches the chart there. So we've got a new candle just popped up there, as you saw. So that's pretty much the Hex Whale. Let's have a look at the Hex daily stats because not the Hex, sorry, the Hex staking pool because this is the global stakes with everybody stakes on it. We've been following this pretty closely. Let's have a look here. So yeah, we've still got this last candle. So we had 4 candles. The big one was 770 million, and then we had a couple of smaller ones around the 300-400 mark. And this is our last one here, 410. So that's coming out. And then of course everything's broken up pretty much till the end of the year. We've got a couple of these candles. That one's 328 on the 11th of October. We've got 373 on the 16th, and 389 on the 1st of October. You've got some other ones here. This one here is around the Hex birthday, just before the Hex birthday. 327 million, but we don't have no more billion candles there at the moment. So that's really cool. I think there's probably a bit more in liquid wallets at the moment, holding off in liquid wallets. But so far, it's nice not seeing these. We haven't even got any at 500 million at the moment. So that's kind of cool. And it's slowly just breaking up over time. It'll take a process to do that, of course, but it is happening. And we had obviously had that big thing, 810 million through the Maximus Perpetuals. That was absolutely amazing. And so on. We've had a COSA. Of course, the HSI stakes are continuing to stake out. I see millions going through there on most days. It seems to be pretty good. I might do another review of that. But HSI stakes are still going on and on. People selling to the COSA contract, staking out 5555. It is really, really cool. So I love that stuff. All right, cool. We might look at that in another video. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a look at the HSI stakes. So that's looking pretty good. And the price there at 3.3. So let's see if we can get a bit of a move here on the Hex price. Maxi, of course, had a bit of a pullback and the price went all the way down, can you believe it, to 6.7 cents. And, of course, it's back up at the moment, just under 7 cents at the moment. But after that big whale, two big whales sold in this candle here, they sold here. It was unable to recover. If you remember, I was talking about the recovery here. I said, oh, it looks really weak. I said the only thing that's going to get it up was a whale, if you remember my comment. And of course, it didn't. It just slipped down here. The premium got down as low as 2.03, so 2 hex per 1 maxi, and currently had a bit of a rebound back here at 208. So showing some weakness there. Obviously, there's no particular news coming up now, so there's probably that weakness as well. Although, of course, they had all that maxi go into get burned, and of course go into the 369 reward pool and go into the mystery box. So it's lost a lot of the supply off the market there. In fact, pretty close to 32% or 92 million maxi went into those different 3 accounts. So down from 293.4. So it's dramatic. 32% is pretty dramatic. So should keep the premium elevated. But obviously got a bit of weakness in there at the moment. Let's jump over to, I think we've got any news on there. We have Maxi here. So Dipcatcher is working on the next product. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Poly Maximus 30-day idea to mainnet challenge. Day 1 breaking ground on the Poly Maximus contract, streaming in 30 minutes. So he's been streaming on there. Definitely catch it if some of those if you can. Obviously going to be streaming a lot doing this. But he's got his goals in there. Today's goal, Poly minting and redemption 1-to-1 Hadron. Connect Hadron smart contract interactions, learn about Solidity, Python, Anvil, and crypto economics. So he's been helping a lot of people with that. Very good. More technical, but definitely a good if you want to learn more technical stuff, then good place to learn. And he's got brilliant knowledge, so definitely check that out. Now, the other thing I was going to say is that I might post that in the chat there just in case you want to check it out. And definitely get in there. But yeah, so 30-day challenge there. Obviously, he's got to get that up, Poly Maximus up before the Hadron for the Hex HSI auctions coming up the 13th, 14th of November there, and that's coming up closer and closer. And of course, he's got to get that all up and running so they can bring basically the staking pools over to auction bidding on the Hex HSIs. So really, really exciting move there from the team. And of course, winning on gas fees, allowing small people to get into the big whale bidding, become whales and get that sort of stuff there. Very, very exciting. So that's cool stuff coming from Dipcatcher there. The other thing, of course, is that we've got, obviously, we're talking about this in the title of the video. Will Richard Hart drop Pulsechain news on Hexologists show? And, of course, we've got Hexologists coming up there with Crypto Coffee and Explosive Art. They will be streaming with Richard Hart next Saturday. Hope to see you all there. And, of course, Richard retweeted this. So it looks like it's going to be a real Richard Hart rather than a cutout board of Richard Hart, which was funny. But it's typically the kind of humor there from Hexologists. And, of course, we've got the poll here at the moment, 95 votes. If you want to get in there and vote, folks, I'm going to close this off because we've gone up to this point here. Now, what will we get? Will we get any news about Pulsechain launching? Will we get more around consensus? I think they're probably they've been testing them. Remember, 2 teams been testing with bots, testing the chain. We've got the new Go language and stuff like that. I imagine a lot of that stuff's been done and tested. So we'll see how we get on there. And of course, the timing of the market is the other thing. Launching at the best time of the market, and of course, we haven't reached that full capitulation that Richard's been after, around 10,600 to 11k, and of course, 11k and pray is the phrase. So definitely get into that. So we're going to end this poll and see what the results are here in the chat. So let's have a look here. We've got will Richard Hart drop Pulsechain news on Hexologists show? So yeah, we might get consensus news. We might get a market update. I always listen to those very carefully. I think I played the Pulse conference speech like 30 times because it's had a lot of really good blues clues in it, as it were. So yeah, we got no 34%, so no news there. People think 1 in 3 people. 27% is yes, and maybe 21% there. So maybe it kind of means possibly. And of course, 2 more weeks, 16%. So 2 more weeks. In other words, it's good to just keep going. So yeah, that's pretty cool poll. Am I surprised by that poll? Yeah, I am a little surprised. I thought the no would be lower because I'm sure he's going to drop some news on there with Hexologist probing away. So let's see how we go there. 2 more weeks for sure. Definitely 2 more weeks, I guess, is in the play. So that's pretty cool from that. Looking forward to that big time. Should be fun to watch that. Obviously, any time Richard's on, we like to hear from him. and he is the founder and, of course, inspiration for the community. Let's get over to the Maxi team premium here. Let's see how that's going. We've got the premium here, 1.23. Wow. Maxi 1.23. So looking strong again. Did go below 1. Got to 98, back to 123. And, of course, it's at 1.4. 1.48 was the peak. Man, oh, man, that's crazy stuff right there. Very, very cool. Down at 7 cents. So nice. All right, let's jump over to Hadron. Hadron really is the talk of the town at the moment. Woo-hoo-hoo! Hot dog, dog. And so that's going really well. And, of course, it's already front-running, I guess, the November big Hex HSI auctions. Remember, big Hadron burn, big ICOSA inflation, and, of course, big ICOSA rewards to those staking Hadron, ICOSA, and WhatsApp NFTs. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, I was on OpenSea yesterday looking for deals on WhatsApp NFTs, and I did find maybe one deal that I was willing to probably make a purchase on. So interesting stuff there over on OpenSea. For We Are All SA is the group, of course. We Are All SA, and What's is there, and some interesting stuff. A lot of expensive stuff on there, but there were maybe one. There was definitely one that was reasonable, and it was actually for quite a few. We're talking, not talking about 1 million points here. We're talking about, a lot of bigger positions. So there was probably stuff that's worth definitely scouting around, trying to look for deals if you can. Because remember, it's last man standing for WhatsApp. I imagine that in November, we're going to get a lot of burning in WhatsApp. I think there's only been like maybe 40 burn. I think we're going to get a lot of burns in November. People try to capture that big ICOSA inflation event, and going to be fun to see. So very cool. We'll be looking out for that. So far, front running here on this. And, of course, Poly Maximus has also probably played a little bit of a role here in getting this going back here. So big shout out for that. Obviously, having some more bidding come in, making more probable the outcome of burning and all that sort of stuff. The HSIs being even more successful in the auctions here. So very, very cool. Looking good. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to the we're up to. We'll go to the BNB memes quickly. And of course, we're going to talk this on the BNB chain. Just under 4 cents of a penny for Pulse Dodge, P33 at 10 cents there. Nothing looking too good in any of these charts, to be honest. And Internet Money 6337. So nothing much to see there. Let's wait for some green shoots. As you can see, the chart sort of speaks for themselves. They're skimming along the bottom. So that's pretty much it. Then we'll move on. Exit left, exit right. One of those two. All right, let's have a look at the airdrops. Pulse Dodge coin here. Woo, $4.32. Obviously, this is my next probable play over the next 2 weeks. And here we are at $4.32. Now, remember, it's not imminent launch. It's a soon launch because imminence means, maybe imminent. Sorry, not imminence, but imminent means maybe within the next 24 hours. But it is a launch soon. So I guess it's coming pretty soon. And there it is, currently $4.32. It's actually looking, if you pull this out a bit, already had a kind of a pre-rally. I'm expecting this to move higher. So I am fairly bullish about this one as it moves towards the dual token system. We don't know the gamification, but I imagine it's going to be pretty good. I've generally on that side of the project I've generally liked. I thought this is pretty much at the moment is the front running meme coin from my perspective. Now it may get overtaken. But at the moment, of course, it's got this Pulse Bitcoin coming up. And I think that may, if there's good gamification in it, this could actually do pretty well as, trying to get that or maintain that leadership position as the top meme coin, which I think it is on the Pulse chain. Now, you can have a different opinion. That's all good. But we do have other projects coming up that may challenge some of this narrative. We'll see. It's going to be a bit of a battle of the wills, as it were. But in there so far, so good. RSI cooling off there a bit too. Down at 60. So there we are. All right. The other one, of course, Weight Token is at just under 0.6 of a penny, pretty much in the range. And of course, we saw that we had to buy the rumor and sell the news event on the on-ramp, off-ramp stablecoin CST. And of course, I covered that in a video the other day with 3 stablecoins to come into Pulsechain, which is pretty cool. USDL, CST, and what was it, XSD or something like that. Can't remember now. Always confused me that last name. BankX basically coming in there, and of course there we are, pretty much in the trading range. Look, trading range from the beginning. Woohoo! And I think there must be in excess of about 1.2 billion coins accrued at the moment. So that's pretty much where we are. And I think we've got, what, maybe 110 million or so minted so far. So still early days. People are waiting. The more you wait, the more tokens you get. Pretty much that for Pulsechain. And of course, people are fighting against the, what's the thing called? Oh, I've forgotten the name of the entity that will get all the coins. I can't remember now. Oh, damn it. I forgot. That's embarrassing. Normally I remember that, but hey, that's where we go. And we're going to look at the founders wild cards. I've changed the name here. I used to call it wild cards. Now called founders wild cards. Oh, we can't get Trayvon again. It's been rugged again. It's been rugged again. Poor Trayvon's token's been rugged. Chart's been rugged off here. Anyway, so we got PZN from Conrad Zen there, who's needs to get a Starlink satellite system so that he can broadcast without any issues. He's in some random island somewhere and can't get broadcast. But it's currently under 0.8 of a penny at the moment, doing pretty well actually. It's over at support level from my point of view. It's 0.7 of a penny. It is a kind of a tax deflation token. Now, if you can get enough deflation in the system, then you may do pretty well. But generally, I don't like these because generally they typically spiral down. But at the moment, PZN is surprising to the upside at this stage. But once again, for those holding, it's pretty good. The other thing I am cautious about is the large holders that are holding it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do think that to really flourish in this coin, it needs to get to 3-4 cents. And then you're making some decent passive income in US dollar terms. So there's just a couple of thoughts there. Obviously, we're just covering this as a wild card. And of course, it's speculative from that point of view. The design is questionable as well. A lot of these typically move down. But hey, if it does well, it does well. I want people to do well in their projects. So far, it's holding up at the moment. Compared to Dodeca, for example, which had flaws and was definitely spiraling down in my view on the old Dodeca there. Let's quickly pull up Trayvon's one because I don't want to miss that out since I was going to talk about it quickly. I can't find it actually. Where did I put that? And I'm not sure where I put that. So let's have a look at on here. More token. Let's get to it. More. Okay, so I think this is that one here. I think it's this one. It's here. So okay. It's down. This one here's got the funny chart that won't adjust properly. It's down at I have to do it manually. The auto log doesn't work when I do that. Got down to 62 cents. Ouch, man, oh man. Ow. Let's put it on the daily. It's a bit easier to follow. I said to this was breaking down lower lows, didn't look good. It did have a spike down here on the spike yesterday, down to 61.74. Not look great. It has bounced off there. That's positive, but it's still only bounced to resistance. And it did try to smash through. So this is a questionable one at this stage. I wouldn't be, particularly diving deep in it. 84 cents there, pretty nice, but still questionable at this stage. It's kind of at this resistance level, as you can see here. So we'll see how that goes. I thought I was going to sneeze there for a second, but that's the way it goes. All right, cool. That's pretty much the charts. We're going to look at BNBP now as well. So let's check that out. Let me get rid of some of these charts here. So bam, BNBP, man. Woo-hoo-hoo! BNBP. Now try to say that really fast. BNBP. Hey, I didn't do too bad that time. Sometimes it makes me get my tongue tied on it. But hey, Pulsepot, the world's first decentralized peer-to-peer crypto casino. You heard it, folks. This is completely, that is understating how good this project is from the design. And I'm going to be doing a video on that later on today. So I'm not talking about it now, but it's going to come out in a video later on. And hopefully you'll hear some things that you haven't heard before. Hopefully I'll sum it up for you how good this is. Now, this is more speculative, of course, and it's in a different part of crypto market. There's a lot of people that love gaming and casinos and things like that. So it's particularly that market. It's not about certificate of deposit investing and the best designed staking project, for example, like Hex is very different on the other side. But it is brilliantly designed, and the dev is super smart, and of course has a great ethical standard, just like we see out of Dipcatcher and Gold Key and Alex McFurder, just like we see that kind of pay it forward kind of ethos. I see this in this developer Jacob, who's leading this as well. So very cool. Now he's been on a few videos lately. Jim Rat Crypto, a couple other channels. I think he was on, who was it? The TA guy in our community. I just can't remember his name. Let me know in the chat if you remember his name. Just skipped my mind at this moment. But he's been on a few things lately. So there, currently it's at $14.38. Had a massive rally. Remember, we're into day 3. I think we're into day 3 now. So day 3. This chart makes it look like day 4, but we're kind of in day 3. Yeah, look at this. So far, so good. Really good. Now, I think that this is the target platform price on the platform is $30 for the playing value. It's one of the fundamentals. And if the price goes up to $30, it keeps and goes above that, then the playing price goes up to 10% on top of that. So if it got to $50, it'd be $50, $55 on the platform. And it just goes up and up and up there. Now, I think there's probably some very bullish numbers on there, but I'm going to do that on a different video in terms of where I think this might go. At the moment, we're at $14.38, and I really don't. I mean, it can always come back a bit. I mean, pullbacks are always in the game, even with the very best designed crypto projects. But this, I think the demand's going to be absolutely amazing, and I think we've got 7 days to go until the actual game. So it's pretty awesome from that point of view. Just trying to make sure I've got the actual site up. So here's the actual site, BNBPot.io, and man, this is going to be fun to watch. And we've got BNB Faucet here, swap, staking. We've got 7 days and 23 hours to go, so just under 8 hours, 8 days now. And of course, this is when the gaming will start. So we've got jackpot's going to come out first. Roulette's pretty advanced. I think they're just finalizing some of those things up there. And of course, roulette, fortune wheel. I think some of the maths has been done, but they've got coding and front end to do for that sort of stuff. But of course, they've done the auctions for the fortune wheel as well. They're coming. It looks like they're going to do price calls next, and then probably sports after that. And then, of course, after this, they'll bring on slots. You heard it, folks, slots. That's probably a huge part of gaming, maybe 60% of crypto casinos. So this thing's going to be absolutely epic. So if you think about it, it's going to scale on the product side. It's going to be absolutely incredible there. But the tokenomics for this are brilliant, and I'm going to talk about it in the video coming up later on. It's really, really cool. So the staking amount, of course, is pretty cool. We're going to jump to the staking, and we're going to have a little bit of an insight here at the moment. So the insight here is we're up to 57.7%. Let me refresh that one more time. I just want to make it's got to auto refresh, but I'm just having a look at 57.7 OMG. That's just really good. Now this is just your generic. I've done an adjusted number, and we're going to pull that up right now. So let's go to that. We're going to go into the blockchain. We've got the BNB there, million BNBP. Remember, this is launching on 5 chains. This is the first of 5. And, of course, the Pulsechain is going to be the main target. So that's going to come up after this. So that's pretty cool. Now, we've got the total stake number here on the contract here at 563,766. So 563,766. What's that? 573,766. Did I remember that right? Hopefully I did. 563,766. I did a really bad job. 563. Let's take another number out of there. 563, and then of course we've got the total usable number. So we're going to go down to the bottom here. Total user balance 987,848. 987,848. 987,848. I'm pretty sure that's the correct one. So 987,848. That does seem to be right. So we've got 57.07. That matches what we've got. Oh, sorry. That matches what we've got on the Pulsepot site. 57.7. So that's how the numbers are worked. If you want to know how they work there, and I got them off the contract. Now, if you adjust them, for the wallets, if we go to holders here and adjust them for the participation wallet. So this is the participation wallet. When people go to play the game, these are going to be extra rewards on top of the awesome rewards that they're going to try and win anyway. And of course, this is BNBP that they can win as an incentive. Now, this might, who knows how long this will last? Maybe it will last 3 months. Maybe it will last a bit longer. It just depends on the volume going through the casino. Now, all these tokens don't get paid out to the end, by the way. So you win them, but they don't get paid out to the end, which is the other bit, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, we got 57.7. But if I take away the 100,000 and the team wallets below it, this is the BNBPot teams wallet, 71,855. They've also obviously passed some liquidity through to the liquidity pool. They set the liquidity pool up there. And of course, you can see the liquidity pool. They provided pretty much most of this, probably 98% of this is from the teams wallet. And so if we take the 71, 1,855. We've got that in here already, so that's cool. We take those deductions. Our user adjusted balance is 815,993. Now, this user balance of 987,000, this is based on the total supply less of 1 million. So the total supply of here of 1 million, and of course it takes away the pancake swap amount of 12,000 there. That's how we get to this user balance. So that gives us an adjusted number of 815,993, and of course that gives us a actual stake balance of 69%. You heard it, folks. We obviously on the site we have 57.7, but if you adjust it for those two important adjustments, we are up at 69.09, and we have 8 days to go until gaming starts. I'm expecting a lot more staking to happen during up until that point. If you don't stake, you don't get the rewards of the casino, and I think it's going to end up being extremely lucrative. Obviously, launching with the first game of Jackpot, and then Roulette probably coming on fairly quickly after that, and then of course followed by Fortune Wheel, then price calls staged as we go. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting to see that. The other thing, of course, is that means that there's 252,227 unstaked at the moment, but I imagine quite a bit of that's probably going to get staked leading up in the next 8 days. There will always be some traders out there, some people that are going to sell down, maybe people with referrals or this or that, just the way it goes. But of course, definitely we're getting down. It's going to be fun. Now, obviously, 8 days to stake, and of course, the buy and burn will begin in 8 days as people play. There's going to be massive buy and burn. It's going to be so good. So if we look over the tokenomics just quickly, we're going to have all the stuff happening here. It's going to be pretty epic. After the month is done, this all happens automatically. 75% is going to go to the monthly airdrop to those who are staked, and of course 20% to daily buy and burn. Now, the one thing about the 75% is that the tokens are going to go buy. They get taken from the best fee, and then they're going to go and buy a BNBP on the market. So there's a buy pressure on this market from the rewards going. That's insanely good tokenomics. And of course, they've got 20% is going to go to daily buy and burn anyway on a daily basis, not on the month, on a daily. So you've got 95% of the profits here, folks, are going to end up buying BNBP, and 20% of those are going to be burned. So you've got 2 buy pressures and 1 burn in there. It's going to be insanely good. And of course, the countdown is going to occur once the gaming starts. The countdowns will be relevant. These are not relevant at the moment, but the countdown's on the right there for the airdrop and lottery and the burn. 5% is going to go to the wiki lottery. So for every BNBP you have staked, that's right, folks, at every BNB. So these people will not be getting into the lottery, and that lottery could be pretty generous, and one person's going to win. So every BNBP you have staked, it gives you 1 lottery entry. And of course, that is crazy. So there are opportunity costs from not staking big time. And of course, the weekly lottery there, it's going to be pretty awesome. So only stake BNBP will be eligible for airdrop and lottery rewards. Stake your BNBP, and of course, you can do it here in this box here and stake it. And of course, basically, I noticed the first day today, I thought it was going to happen yesterday. The first day today, the state has gone from pending for stakes over to it's staked now. So actually the status is now staked. If you've already staked in time, it will also give you a stake percentage, how far through you are in your 100 days at the top here. And of course, this is the global stake percentage as well. It will show you your average, your available stake, and your staked amount. Now, when you stake on BNBP, it stays in your wallet. So the BNBP stays in your wallet. So it's not like you're going to get it burned like you have in Hex. It gets burned, or it's not like it's going to take your BNBP and put it into another a general global wallet for staking. It doesn't do any of that. It just stays in your wallet, and it gets basically locked up that way. And of course, here we are with the stake percentage there. Pretty awesome. And of course, the minimum day is 100 days. So very exciting on this, man. I'm going to be dropping a video on all the pumpmentals. I've only just teased you a couple of the things that's going on here. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's going to be so good. So honestly, I think he's really designed as good as you could design this thing. It really is brilliant. We're going to talk about that in another video. So there we are, folks. There's a little bit of insights there. Hopefully that's of some use. Let me know in the chat if you've seen other things that you find interesting. Always happy to pull that in. So that is pretty much it at the moment on there. And we're going to be looking into that. And at the moment, the price holding up very, very nicely after a big run. And I'm suspecting that we could see some pretty exciting things over the next 8 days. Obviously, not investment advice. Do your own investment due diligence, but definitely excited about this project big time. All right, cool. That is the BNBP. Let's jump over to ETH Power. Woohoo! We're jumping over Hex on ETH Power. So if you had Hex on Ethereum, you got it copied over to ETH Power network. And of course, we've been covering that quite in depth on this channel. I got lots of how-to videos, both on ETH Power and ETH Fair, and also obviously on BNBPot as well, if you want to check any of those out. Now, obviously, look what's happened here. Look what has happened here. We've got 2.1 million in 25 volume, 44,000 transactions on the Ethereum Power network. But look we've got this US dollar pairings have jumped up to the top here. So I haven't seen any particular news about that. Let me know in the chat if you have seen. I haven't seen anything particular, but US dollars have been pegged up here at $1 because before this, our US dollar prices were pegged to US dollars backed on a centralized exchange on the Ethereum network. Now we seem to have US dollar pairings here on this chain. Remember, they went to zero pretty much, and of course, here we are at $1 on these pegs. So not quite sure what's happening there, but we've got the Uni USDC, and of course, we've got some big pools merging out of these as well. Obviously, Uni and ETH Power there, or ETHW, is currently at 824,000 liquidity. So really big changes there. 66% increase on the Uni there. Amazing. Remember, these WETH are not wrapped ETH, they're actually ETHW. So the Ethereum Power Network tokens. Hex has been pushed down to number 6 and 7. We've still got 3 in the top 10, but we used to have, I think, 5 or 6. Now we're down to 2 or 3. And of course, Hex is obviously always first adopters. We've got pretty flat prices there on the 24-hour basis on the old Hex at pretty much 1/10 of a penny. Remember, the all-time high was about 4/10 of a penny. So that's kind of where we are at this stage. Obviously, there's more tokens, Uni, Power, and Bone there. I see this Alien one has jumped up, the Alien Exchange. I'm not familiar with that one, but that's jumped in there too. Just having a look at some other ones here. So YZZ, not sure what that is as well. That's pretty much it. So cool. No real news on the chain for that. No real big developments. Obviously, there's some giveaways on trading and stuff like that, but we don't typically talk about those. That's pretty much it on the ETH Power. We can see the USDC there on the ETH Power network, and it seems to have all these wallets in it and stuff like that. But I just didn't hear any news about USDC supporting this chain, because originally back in August, they weren't going to support the chain, and of course the USDC went to pretty much zero, not quite zero, but you know what I mean, was pretty worthless. So let me know in the chat there if you've seen something about this. I couldn't find anything myself, but there we are. Now let's jump over to the ETH Fair network. Woohoo! ETH Fair, of course. The liquidity here, we've got 93,000 in volume. That's way better than yesterday. What's that? Almost twice as much as yesterday. Yesterday was really low. Yesterday, 3,500 transactions though. Pretty modest compared to ETH Power. We've still got Hex dominating. Number 1, 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 with Maxi there. So 5 out of the top 10 still dominating there. And of course, we had actually compared to ETH Power, we've had some nice increases on the 24-hour, 15%, 13%, and we're currently sitting almost back at 0.5%. Remember, it was sitting just under 0.4, 0004, and now it looks like it's almost back at not 0.5%. What I meant to say, it was almost back at half. What was it? 1/20th is it? 1/20th of a cent there. I think that's the right number. 1/20th% there. So 0.0047. That's definitely climbing up there. The liquidity, of course, 52,025. So much smaller. In other words, if you're doing, it's really a retail play, because if you're a big whale, you put big money in there, you're pretty much transferring your wealth to some degree, unless someone else piles on there as well. So that's kind of where it is at the moment. So well done. You've still got your stakes and your T-shares on those chains. So good luck. You're earning, it's worth something. So that's free airdrop from that point of view. That's pretty much it. I think we've got the Hex Daily Stats. And of course, what day? We're just on day 1037 at the moment, under 2 months till the Hex 30-year birthday. So here we are, day 1036. We've got the 3rd of October. We're at up 4.2% at 3.368. We've got the Hex daily payout 6.136 Hex per T-share. And of course, we've got the T-share price there, $816. That's a third of that price if you want to stake for 10 years. When you stake your Hex gets burned and you get shares in return. And of course, you get 20% more shares per year up to 10 years. And of course, that's pretty much how that works. The share rate is always going up and to the right. And it's pretty much reflects compound interest and gives them more of an equal opportunity for people coming in at different time periods during the Hex life cycle, but also benefits those who stake earlier pays better from that point of view because the share rate will go up. And we're at 24,240, heading towards 25,000, and not bad as well. Obviously, you can get that for a third of the amount if you stake it 10 years. The average stake length 6.64 years in Hex, which is pretty incredible. Hex people are in for life. A lot of the people that are committed, and way to go. APY, annual percentage yield rate, and the yield and early emergency in-stake penalties. Yield is inflation in Hex, which normally is up to 3.69%. Obviously, effective inflation is much lower than that since the big payday and stuff like that. So 37.43%. We've got the amount in the pool, 677 million Hex in the pool yesterday, only 253 million now, which is kind of cool. And we're back up, almost back to $12 million. Now, this moves around based on supply and demand, but also people adding and removing liquidity as liquidity providers. And, of course, we've got ETH there at 1389. I probably should pull up the Uniswap liquidity pool, have a look to see what support that has. It doesn't include stuff that's sitting on the sidelines, of course, but that does give some interesting support and either way. What else there? T-shares down 3,700. We've got 10,489,000 T-shares. So Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with the inflation that I talked about and penalties from people that don't keep their responsibilities with their stakes. And, of course, when we've got the ownership pool, which owns that reward pool, and that is T-shares. And T-shares stands for trillions of shares. And, of course, if the reward pool or the T-shares go up and down, the ownership and the rewards, then the Hex payout per T-share goes up or down. And obviously, generally it's going up, but because we're expecting T-shares to fall over time. But, of course, every so often you come along, you have some team like Maximus come along with the perpetuals, and they decide to stake 810 million Hex or 294.3 million Hex into different stakes. And, of course, that lifts the T-shares. And, of course, the other day we saw it do over 90,000 T-shares and jumped us back from 10.4 million up to almost 10.5. So this is the way it goes. But, of course, getting T-shares is the main game in Hex staking. And, of course, man, it's a lot of fun. You get paid Hex every day. It's your little money printer. Really, really cool. We also saw a huge jump, in, of course, in the amount of staked Hex up to 62.8 billion now. And, of course, what else there? 9.76% of Hex is staked. So obviously the vast majority, some say around about 90%, is held by the Origin Sacrifice accounts. And, of course, here we are at 9.76% of the stake there. What else? The penalties, just over 500,000, so a modest day in the house. I always like it, get excited when we're over 1 million. We had some terrific days in the last 10 days there in terms of Hex payouts. That goes on top of the inflation we get paid. Very, very exciting. Let's have a look at Hex growth. Wallets up 32 to 310,689. Stake is up 48 to 109,825. As Richard Hart says, get out there and do direct promotions. Might be just doing a mail drop around your block, maybe going to the car park and putting little Hex things on people's windscreen wipers, or it may just be online in a chat group saying, hey, have you checked out Hex 38 APY? And, of course, the total holders up 180 there to 499,854. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I think tomorrow is it. Tomorrow we might hit that 500,000 total holder number, a hugely symbolic number there. 500,000 before the end of 3 years as well. Woohoo! We've still got just under 2 months to go to the 3-year birthday party. Man, oh man, oh man. Does that look good? It does look good to me. 500,000. Bring it on. We love it. And, of course, we're up to day 1,037, heading up towards 1,095, 3 years. And, of course, the 2nd of December 2022, we're going to have the 30th birthday. What does it mean after that? We're in the year 4. Year 4 on Hex. And that's a real sign of maturity. And onwards and upwards towards 7 years. So very, very cool. Payout today already at 6.10. That's kind of almost your base payout now, 6.10. And look, we enjoy it. So very, very cool. And, of course, the Hex price there just lifting a bit as well. So we can see the Hex price there, 3.3. Let's see whether we can get a bit of a move on with the Hex price there. And looking forward to it. So that's pretty much the Hex daily stats. The other thing, of course, if you haven't gone to our Discord, get into the Discord. The link's in the video description, and get onto that. So cool. What else we got there? Make sure you have enough ETH in each account. Yes, RH at Pulsechain. Some in your Discord live stream. That same. Brian's one of our community leads here, and of course you can see the new community leaders here with Fat Sammy and Brian. And we probably will be looking to get one more person in there. We have awesome community moderators down here which is fantastic. I'm going to try and move these bots out of that here at some stage. Some of you new to Discord in the live stream chat were saying you needed help in figuring out how to do things in Discord. I am far from a pro, but seem to be getting around pretty well. I would be happy to help anyone. I'll be in the general voice chat after the current live stream. Feel free to drop in. So definitely join in there. That's the chat there. And of course, a big welcome. We're heading up towards 800 members in Discord. Really is terrific as well. Let's get back into, we're going to jump out of there and leave that there at the moment. Let's get into some of the comments before I wrap up the live stream. And of course, look forward to a Pulsechain video, which I think you're going to like a lot. And of course, especially if you're new to crypto, it's going to be particularly insightful. And of course, don't forget to also, there's going to be a BNBPot one, which is going to be absolutely cool as well. I think you guys are going to like that as well. So really, really cool. Let's just go back into some of the comments because I'm probably quite miles behind here. Actually, I might pull up the old Hex chart here and we'll finish on the Hex chart because this is my traditional Hex chart I use on Dex tools rather than Dex screen of the charts on a different time period. But I do like it a lot. So we'll leave it there at the moment. On this candle, unfortunately, it has a red candle, but that's on the daily. Let's jump over to the hourly there and leave it on there. We're coming up to an hour and a quarter, which is typically how long I like to do the streams now. And I might actually quickly talk about this chart here quickly. We've got the yellow line is EAM13. And of course, our Bollinger Bands are tightening, folks. This is what I want to see, these two measures. We're getting across here. Across, you guys know what I like here. So that's actually looking really good on the chart. I won't get this Bollinger Bands, the top blue and bottom is the top 95 and bottom 5% of the price range. I want to get that cross. It's looking much better now. Let's see what we've got on the DMI. Buyers moving back up here, sellers moving down, looking good there. And the RSI, plenty of room in the RSI, 43, looking good if we're going to get a move. The stochastic here, looks like we might get across here, back up again, a bit like sort of these sort of formations here. And maybe we'll get something like this. And yeah, looking more positive there. So definitely looking good on the stochastic RSI. And so we look like we might be getting a nice little move on here. We've got a higher low in as well. We've got 2.8 back here. And let's see how we get on. So maybe we might have a good week this week for the old X price. We don't have, obviously, the distraction of the perpetuals and stuff, even though that could have bought some buy pressure. Really, the only big buy we saw was 50 million that I recall from that buy pressure. There were obviously a lot of retail stuff going in there. But of course, it has to compete with any selling that's going on in the market conditions. But definitely looking positive here. So it looks like Hadron Hex, maybe they'll have a bit of a party. That's pretty much, we might see that happen. So cool. Let's get back into the final comments. I think I'm probably miles behind. I do apologize. I normally try to keep up with it as best as I can. I think we got up to there. Katie says this chat is pro Texas. Jonathan says, you're the man. Brian, I will, brother. Nice one. Hex on ETH-W and Hex ETH is pumping hard, says Hexodl. And Maxi Hex ratio on ETH is holding over 3x. Nice one, Hexodl. Appreciate your insights to that. 50 and 80%. Jamin says, staking rewards on BNBP might be big, says Jamin. I think so. I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff in my video coming out later today. What else there? Hadron on ETH-W is over 60% and since 5 hours ago, says Hexodl. PSI said, I sold my Maxi and went into Deci. I saw the Deci premium only increasing in Maxi, either mostly flat or down. I don't know why you wouldn't have gotten to Deci. Hey, PSI, that's kind of what I was saying on the channel too. So when Deci does seem like a no-brainer, but definitely play out there. So good comments. 30% on Hadron for ETH, says Hexodl. They are moving. Yeah, they probably had a little bit of time on the pullback, and maybe they're going to move a bit there, as Hexodl's indicating. There are some of the links there. Hex on ETH-W, Hex on ETH. Those are the links on Dex Screener. PSI says, especially with Maxi pumping into team launch, a nice catalyst to take advantage of. True that. Hexo said he simply asked RH to come on a Saturday screen, and he said, okay, oh yes, nice set one, Hexodl. That's cool. Some have sold what's on other chains, says Astri. 43 what's an NFT burn, says Wookie. Wookie is our master with the old what's. Mikey says imminent is a safe term, a safe moon term for never. I hate that word, Lance, says Mikey. Yeah. What do you think of Zen? Yeah, Zen's coming up there. I was going to talk about that. I did talk about it briefly yesterday. I've still got to do some study on that. So a lot of YouTubers have been talking about it. So it's still about 5 days to go till the drop on Zen. we will be covering that because it's going to be pretty much free, isn't it? And people are going to be able to get it. So we'll be definitely talking about that. Something free. We all love free stuff. I got dropped from all Twitter accounts and PLSD after I made a joke. Telegram group, despite being a holder and buying more about a week ago. They're a bit testy over there. Yeah, Pulse Dodge. Yeah, unfortunately, that happens in some communities at different times. And that's all communities, by the way. Did I say some? I mean all communities. Get a little bit of that in all communities. Unfollowed on Twitter, I mean, says PSI. Is there any SAC going on at the moment to get weight token? No. You had to have qualified for 8 different sacrifices to do that. I think they're going to other chains, though. It's a little, I think they might have seen something about that. What else there? Pac-Man in the house. Bam! Good to see Pac-Man. Go Hadron, says Pac-Man. Yeah. I told you guys October will be a huge move for stocks. Yes, that's correct. So stocks are typically good, particularly good for crypto, actually. PSI, you're such a tease, suit man, says PSI. That's pretty funny. I can't remember what that's referring to. But about the 2 videos possibly. If Hex could just moon now, that would be great. Yeah, so this is pretty much how it works, right? So if Hex moves up in price, then all the other derivatives, Hadron, Acosa, Maximus, the team, Perpetuals, they're all going to move up pretty much. So it's pretty bullish. So we look forward to get some Hex, man. Get some Hex and let these babies rock and roll. That's not investment advice, of course, not investment advice, just in my opinion. DB maybe do it. No, Christian says on WhatsApp, I don't think there's going to be one man standing. Because what about if some unfortunate pass away or forgets? We live in crazy times, anything goes in this world. That's a good point there, Christian. Good point. When RH stream on Hexologists on Saturday, Hexologists YouTube channel on Saturday. They're almost like best buddies. So we'll look forward to their dynamics together. 2 more weeks, TV. 2 more weeks. Yeah. Let me have a look here. Christian says BNBP is so amazing. I slept on the SAC. I'm pretty mad at myself, says Christian. Hey, you're in now, and I think it might do some pretty cool things. Nice little base being formed around $40 on BNBP. Maybe we'll feel more comfortable shooting for that 30 value when they think the downside is a bit more limited, says PSI. I agree with you there, PSI. That's kind of my feeling as well. Pothead in the house here with the thumbs up there. Christian says, I wonder at what price BNBP will be on Pulsechain when it launches. Well, this launch on BNB is going to be very important indicator for that, because obviously we'll have all these product launches and everything else. There'll be a very developed platform Pulsepot by the time that BNBPot by the time that Pulsepot launches on Pulsechain. Shano in the house there. Good to see you, Shano. Woohoo! And your calculations for the staked amount of BNBP, I actually think a portion of the participation wallet is also staked. This was it's to extend the participation phase, as it means more BNBP. I didn't know that, PSI. My understanding that I know the team wallet's not staking, but you might be right about participation. I haven't actually seen the contract because stuff stays in people's wallets. I'm not actually sure whether there's a window to that. Let me know, PSI. Possibly 50%. Okay, let me know. If you could confirm that, that'd be really cool. Let me know on Discord. I'd really appreciate that, because I like to have accurate numbers. Not sure of the exact number. Cool. All right. Well, I can adjust that next time I talk about it. Just need confirmation of that. Be able to see that on chain or something. Need the Hex daily stats to work on ETHW and ETH says Hex. Yeah, we need some information around a lot of that stuff around the ETHW and ETH Power network, ETH Power and the ETH network. 500 million stakers. What an achievement that will be, says Ted. Absolutely, pretty amazing. Holders. Yes, holders. Yeah. That's right. So he had me going there for a second too. Hexlot will get this on the track though. More penalties on late stakes to those on those forks is not everyone in stakes. True. Machiavelli in house there. Woo! Good to see Machiavelli. Hexologist says crypto copy is on my life is awesome live. Nice one. Who else there? Sandy in the house there. Hey, good to see you, Sandy. I think we're almost up to date here. You can get more T-shares on there, and it works on Acosa app.acosa. So I've done a video on how to stake on all chains. So if you want to look at that on how to stake on Ethereum, ETH Power, and ETH Fair, I've done a video on how to do that with acosa.pro, app.acosa.pro. So check that out on this channel. It is a nice interface. Alex done a great job with that. Staker app needs to add these forks. I don't know what Staker app's doing, man. I mean, they should be launching V2 already and just add the module on. I don't know if that's how they've set it up. But I really like that. They've been so quiet, man. They stopped doing their Sunday live streams. I really like those. So not sure what they're doing over that team. We'll get lots of tweets out, but nothing around the project. What else there? We got one more. DCA for the win, says Sandy Beach. Definitely DCA for the win. Tortoise John in there. Woohoo! Very, very cool. We're having a Zen intro. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that, definitely. And Katie says text and token donation. 12 days left to go. Nice one there, KD. All right, so cool. I think that's pretty much it. I'm 6 minutes over my live stream time. But, hey, we're looking at the Hex price, so that can't be too bad, right? That can't be too bad. And, of course, what else there? All right, so we're going to wrap up to folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream. Look forward to my Pulsechain video up and to the right. And, of course, look forward to my BNBPot video as well. That's going to also be up and to the right there. And get excited, man. We're in a bear market, but we've got everything happening in this ecosystem. It is insane in the membrane. Don't forget, of course, to get into Discord with Brian. He's going to be in there now. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody. I mean, we have an awesome community, and peace and love is the way we roll, rock and roll. Very, very cool. And welcome to the present and chat post, says Brian. Nice one. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now. Peace out. Woohoo! Let's rock on. Bam, bam, bam.